All right, Shalom. This is your brother Ywanathan. First and foremost, want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. All right, so today we're going to talk about what constitutes marriage. Something that, what the word constitute, right? Basically, it gives the legal constitution to establish something, right? And we know that the Lord has a different set of laws than what society has today. Okay, so what constituted marriage? I first want to give an example. We want to go to Genesis, the 24th chapter. Let me get there really quick in my Bible. I'm going to go to Genesis, the 24th chapter, and we're going to start at the 64th verse, 63rd verse, maybe. Yeah, we'll start actually 62. Okay, so this is Genesis 24 and 62. This is after Isaac's mother had passed. All right, and Isaac, a little tidbit for you, and the reincarnation is Yahweh Shai. All right, but continuing on, it says in 62, it says, and Isaac came from the way of the well of Lahairoi, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. Now a servant was sent out to bring back Isaac a wife, and which would end up being Rebekah. All right, verse 64. It says, and Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. So she was the one on the camel with the servant. Verse 65, for she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac had brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took. Now you're talking about took, all right? It means to lay hold, all right? When a man marries a woman, it means to lay hold, snatch, take, right? So they became one flesh. They had sex in that tent, and that's what constituted the marriage. They have something called consummation. Okay, let me actually go look up the word consummation, get the definition, the etymology of the word. The meaning of words is very important when it comes to understanding the scriptures. When it comes to understanding most things, you want to know the meaning, the roots of words and things like that. So when we go look up consummation, which we already know what it means, but it might be some extra insight when we look it up. All right. Completion, accomplishment, a summing up, a finishing, a completing. It's a completing of the marriage. Keep going down. To come together. Okay, and at the end of the definition, it says what? Sense of completion of a marriage by sexual intercourse. Okay, that's what completed the marriage in our custom, in ancient Israel custom, right? A woman, the man she married, she would be a virgin before that. A woman's value comes from remaining pure. A man has to, his value in the world, he has to become something. So he has to build his value. A woman simply must maintain her value. Now, back to the custom, when the two families would come together, and marriages were pretty much arranged, the families would, majority of the time, the families would sit down. The fathers would sit down and say how this is beneficial to both families. It basically was like a business deal, so to speak, because the families are joining, and how is the union beneficial for both families? So that would be, hashed out. And the marriage ceremony, the man would go into the woman, and they would have the sheets on the bed to make sure, and they were of a lighter color, and they would bring those sheets out to attest that she was a virgin, because her hymen would be broken. So the woman would bleed as proof, as a token, right? A token of her virginity. Okay, actually, while I'm talking about it, I'll go look it up. Let me see if they got any extra interesting facts. Token of virginity. Ancient. Okay. Yeah, so that's it wasn't a dating culture. All right, there wasn't casual sex to see what you see, what you like. That wasn't a thing. All right. Biblical hermeneutics, token of virginity. All right. It says, in Deuteronomy 22 and 13 through 21, a father was to present evidence that his daughter was a virgin on her wedding night. This evidence was called tokens of virginity and involved a mysterious cloth. All right. And this is Deuteronomy 22 and 17. It says, and lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, saying, I have found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. So they would show to prove that a woman was a virgin in this marriage ceremony, which showing you that marriage was sex. Sex was the finishing, all right, or the consummation, the finishing of sealing the deal for the marriage, right? So yeah, marriage is sex, so to speak. Well, not so to speak, it is. And there's certain duties that a man has within a marriage that are written down, hard and bold, and there's certain duties that a woman has within the marriage that are set in stone. And it's not in the power dynamic between the man and the woman in the marriage. That woman now becomes that man's property. She is a servant unto him, a helpmate. The Lord created the women to be a helpmate. When you look up the word woman, it means a servant unto a man. Let's actually go look up the word woman. Why was a woman's main function in the world is to what? Bring forth life. You see, to bring forth life, to grow a man's nation. Now, you look up the word woman. The noun says adult female. Alteration it's an alteration of wifeman, meaning a woman, a female servant, a compound of wife and woman, human being, all right, wife, all right, literally woman, man, female man, a female version of a human. All right, so yeah, the part of the definition we want there was a female servant, and that's written in the scriptures. It says the man shall rule over thee, thy husband shall rule over thee. The man was created first, then the woman. Just naming off some examples here. Yeah, that's the order. The same way Israel, the Lord looks at Israel as his woman, as his wife. What we fulfill the will of our husband. We're concerned with, his agenda, not our own. And that's the chain of command. Yahweh Shai, the man, then the woman. So us being, Israel being the wife, the men of Israel, the prophets, we are concerned with our husband's will. All right. The same way the woman should be concerned with our will. It's an order. That's all. Okay. So yeah, that was an example in Genesis of what marriage is, what constitutes it, and so forth. I think I got one more precept as far as like that. Let's go to Exodus 21 and 10. Okay, Exodus 21:10 really quick. Bear with me, guys. All right, Exodus 21. Exodus 21 and 10, all right, it reads, if he take him another wife. So now I'm branching off into this second topic, because, and it's been coming up as of late, people's understanding of marriage and what adultery is, or just, they say cheating, now in this time is misconstrued from what the Lord actually says. Okay, But this is a law on if a man takes him another wife, and it's also going to list off the responsibilities a man has within the domain of marriage. Okay, it says if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Her food, so a man's supposed to, these are things he's supposed to be providing, the physical things he's supposed to be providing within the marriage. Her food, her raiment, her shelter and clothing, right? And her duty, and the duty of marriage, loving that woman as yourself. That includes sex. That includes making sure they're well kept, making sure that, the house is being guided in the right direction spiritually. You have your house in order, which entails so many. I can make a whole lesson on that. But, it entails a man having his house in order, making sure his family is taken care of, a plethora of things. Now, let's go to Leviticus 20:10, okay? Because in Leviticus 20:10, now we're going to, because we just read that if you take him another wife, and some people read that and be like, wow, well, isn't that wrong? Isn't that cheating? Isn't he stepping out on her? No, let's find out what adultery actually is. So we go to Leviticus 20:10. It says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife. All right. And this is the sum pretty much of what adultery actually is. A man sleeping with another man's wife, or that woman, even though she's married to one man, she steps outside of that and sleeps with another. Which Israel, on a bigger scale, Israel as a nation, we've followed after other gods. So we committed adultery and fornication against the Father. Okay. But a remnant is going to return and get cleaned up and walk uprightly. And through that remnant, the rest of the nation will be brought back in the kingdom. All right. Leviticus 20:10, once more from the top. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So that is the recompense for committing such an act. Okay, so again, adultery is when a man sleeps with another man's wife. Marriage is when a man and a woman become one flesh, which is sex. All right. A woman that isn't betrothed or married, that woman is joined unto that man, and she's supposed to have the whole system. Back then you had the tokens of virginity, all that, the joining of the two families. All right, now let's go to Proverbs 6:29, just to double down on Leviticus 20:10. It says what? So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent. Again, going into the fact that a man can have as many wives as he can afford to provide for. And I'll say this, we here at Great Millstone, we're not over here multiplying wives to ourselves, especially in this time. Elder Manasseh Zakbai even said that in his lesson yesterday. It's not expedient for the time. And we just read Leviticus 21, all right, where you got to be providing food, raiment, and duty of marriage. Now, in Babylon, under the curses, it's hard enough to do that for one woman. How many brothers are in a fortunate enough situation to be doing that for multiple women? And also, it's going to be taken from your time from your true wife, which is Sophia, this knowledge. Women take away from your time. Right now, there's a time and season to everything under heaven. Right now, we're supposed to have our foot on the pedal to the floor, diving into the spirit, growing, learning, helping to edify the flock. Okay, so for that. Continuing on. Okay, well, just since I mentioned that, let's branch off. So once the prophets are, basically has it to where we're not out here warning anymore. It's going to be a man shortage because much death is going to be, going out. Okay, and a man is going to be made as fine as gold, and not just any man, a man with the understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, a man that's standing stiffly for the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right. So in that time, as prophecy, you can go to Isaiah, and Apostle Ramlak went over it, and Apostle Tahar went over it recently. Isaiah 4:1, it says what? And in that day, 7 women, 7 being a number of completion, and in that day shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, we will wear our own apparel. Okay, so women are going to be, they're going to fall back into to that womanly role. Okay, and they're just gonna want to be called by that man's name, meaning they belong to him, meaning they're married unto him. Okay, and then the proper order is going to be set back in place, because it was one of the curses that a woman shall compass a man, and that has happened in this time. We see it. Women worship is in the forefront of everything. All right. So yeah, man, that's the components of how marriage even works. So it's not a ceremony or where you need approval from the very people that were raping, robbing, killing you, and doing all these times. You're not supposed to. You don't need approval from him to be married. Now, if that's something that you want to do, I don't advise it. But each his own. I wouldn't say that you're breaking a law per se by having paperwork, but that's not what constitutes marriage. If we're on this side, man, it's all screwed up. But if you're dealing with a woman, you in understanding, and maybe she's and you're dealing with her on that level, bro, the Lord sees that as your wife. Simply put, there's no such thing as a girlfriend or boyfriend, because there wasn't any casual hooking up in our culture. That's not permittable. That's just whoredom, simply. And they dress it up to make it acceptable in this time. But there was no such thing as dating or boyfriend and girlfriend. So there's no such thing as shacking up. That's stupid. Anyway, I want to give our praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash. Want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers, and of course the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.